Hi, this is Salem, and I'm with Guilty. Say hello, Guilty.
What's up, guys?
So today for episode 2, we're going to be talking about 5 different things. We're talking about Microsoft's recent layoffs of over 1,900 people.
Ooh.
After that, we're going to go into the Blizzard canceling their survival game that they had in the works. That kind of ties in with the number one. After that, we're going to go into Palworld and specifically how the Pokemon Company recently issued a statement over the supposed controversy that might be brewing. And then we're going to go directly into Palworld and kind of talk about the devs. They had an interview just the other week or the other day talking about that. And then continuing on with Palworld, since it's such an amazing game, we're going to be talking about its Nexus and mod support. So Guilty, you want to take us off into number one?
Sounds like a plan. Microsoft laid off 1,900 employees and everyone lost their minds.
Yes.
Except for the people who actually cared.
Correct. Or
no one who actually cared
just
lost
wanted
their minds.
fun games. Yeah. Any actual gamers were like, okay, yeah, so.
Yeah. Pretty much. Do they ever tell us exactly who was laid off?
No, they don't release that publicly. I mean, it's pretty easy to find most people, well, not most, but a lot of people when that happens to them and it's high profile like this and gets a lot of news attention. A lot of people will take to like their Twitter and be like, I'm one of the ones that got fired. It's completely unfair. How could they do this to me? And yeah, so you can usually find at least quite a few of them that have firsthand experience with the news.
Yeah. So this is all hypothetical because I don't know, but I would assume Microsoft came in and they were like, oh, here's a useless thing.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. Which you see all the time with acquisitions. They come in, they acquire it. They're like, okay, I know you guys got comfortable doing it this way and got complacent and hired 25 HR reps, and we don't need all of them. We're getting rid of all of them. And some of it is just redundancy too. So like, I guarantee you Activision Blizzard had their own HR department. Microsoft also has their own HR department. Right. So obviously
how many
they
do you
don't
need
both. Yeah, exactly.
So like Javier Milei came in and was for that. Gone. Out.
Yeah.
Out skis. No more.
Exactly. Yes.
Redundant. Waste.
So yeah, a lot of this is blown out of proportion. A lot of it is redundancy. A lot of it's not actual game developers. It's a lot of the admin detail. Yeah. It's the HR. It's the probably a larger. They're probably their entire marketing department probably got canned except for a few key people.
I mean, because hypothetically, Microsoft has we don't know.
Yeah, we don't. Maybe they came in and they fired 1,900 developers.
It's like 8% of the company.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so. But yeah,
personally, I would have been like, let me just do a walkthrough. It might not be based on what part of the company they work for. Just hear me out. Hear me out. This person has metal in their face and has blue hair.
You think Microsoft would do that? Microsoft probably kept those people.
I don't think that Microsoft, the company, has the same ambition as Microsoft, the Moobs guy. You know who I'm talking about.
Moobs guy.
Yeah. He owns almost the most. He's almost the number one owner of farmland in the state of all the states.
Gotcha.
Actually,
yeah.
I think it's nationwide. He's like 200+ thousand acres of farmland.
Yeah.
Not Bill Gates, not Mr. Man Boobs himself, but I don't think because he doesn't really do anything with the company anymore. Didn't he leave? He stepped down or something?
No. Him and his wife got divorced like a couple years ago or something. He had to like give her half or something like that. But.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's as involved as people think he is. And I think the company is trying to make money. And so they're going to be like, oh, you out. You out.
Yeah.
You over there, out. And I'm not exact. Okay, so like if someone came into where I work and saw what I was doing, I wouldn't be like it you know, if you're completely useless to the company, right?
In certain situations, yes, I'd argue a lot of people don't realize that their work is because a lot of people can't look outside their own tiny bubble. So a lot of people will be doing work. For instance, they'll hire somebody just to sit there and basically send out like 10 to 15 emails a day, and then they realize, oh, lost my camera.
Oh no, thumb. No, okay. Oh, all right. So to fine tune if you were, for instance, like the third string office assistant to someone, like how many levels of office assistant do people need?
True. Yeah. I mean, with AI, less and less. So
it turns out
which is
no office assistants are needed anymore.
Well, it's funny. I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but the funny thing about the whole AI thing, and everyone was talking about, oh, the AI is going to take all of our jobs, and we're not going to be able to do any of this stuff. It turns out that the AI isn't actually taking manual labor jobs. What it's actually taking is all those pointless people that are all they do is send out 15 emails a day, or writers. You saw that writer strike recently, and they've started developing AI that can do like write scripts and that sort of stuff.
I would say the AI can write on par with modern screenwriting.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because modern screenwriting is bullshit.
Oh, easily, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's clearly, obviously, very not up to par. But the recent story that I thinking about this is, I don't know if you saw the translators for anime.
Oh
they were putting in wokes. They were changing this. They were actually changing the original scripts to have like woke messages, like, oh, the patriarchy is keeping me down. Stupid stuff like that. And now they're
what the patriarchy has done for us, to be completely honest?
Oh, you don't have to get off on the tangent on how the patriarchy is actually a good thing, but
I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say every boss I've had in my life has been female.
The funny thing,
military included.
Oh yeah, you were non-combat arms. So
I was combat arms.
That's your fault.
I was a field artilleryman.
Yeah.
No. Master Sergeant Haley was not actually okay. All right, with the exception of the military, because she was not actually in my unit. But she was much higher rank than I was.
Well, they promote women and stuff. God damn, my camera! I need to take this thing down.
She was in the army for like 37 years.
Was she?
Yeah. It's like, okay, all right.
But no, yeah. So yeah, they got AI actually. There's several translation companies actually using AI now to translate in place of actual translators, which is hilarious. But yeah, back to the topic at hand, the Microsoft layoffs. The big name that we do have is actually the Blizzard president, Mike Ybarra.
Oh, so
actually, well, he announced he's departing the company. He's gone. They fired him. Yeah, he resigned, but that really means, hey, leave. You can leave with dignity by retirement.
Everything you've done has sucked ass, and we hate you.
Well, the funny thing, I believe he was actually one of the original founders of Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's good at running the thing. Whatever. He could have been like the worst miscreant. We don't know.
Yeah. Yep. But no,
I know that everything that happened under him has been lackluster, in my opinion.
Well, when did he become president?
I'm not sure, but I think it was Diablo 4. Like any part of Diablo 4 that he's involved in, no.
Well, maybe Overwatch not. It says Ybarra has worked at Blizzard since 2019.
Yeah, gone. Afuera.
So I guess he wasn't one of the original founders.
Yeah, my understanding is most of the Blizzard North guys went and formed, not most. I would say, in my opinion, a better portion of them, and they went and formed a different company. They're no
Yep.
longer working for Blizzard.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of them left.
That being said, not everyone that currently works for Blizzard is terrible. It's just
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard they're putting out garbage.
Yeah.
Microsoft came in and they trimmed the fat. That's what happens when acquisitions take place.
Yep.
This is 1,900 employees is the fat. 8% of the company is fat. They determined that. The rest of them are going to see that and be like, oh, all right. I won't agree with the status quo anymore.
Yeah. Well, a large part of that too is sending a message to the actual employees that, hey, this is no longer how I know you all ran things this way. This is a new chapter in the company. This is how things are going to work now. So it's,
look at
refining
me. Look
that
at
in
me.
their minds.
I am the captain now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Microsoft's laying off 1,900 employees across Xbox, Activision Blizzard, and ZeniMax.
Yeah. And the ZeniMax thing is very interesting, especially coming straight off of Starfield's release.
Which was...
Yeah, Bethesda's a
Emerald, I love you so much. I'm so sorry, but that fucking game is terrible.
Yeah, it was a step back, to say the least.
One step back?
Yeah, one step.
I still play Morrowind.
Yes, I still play Skyrim.
Skyrim's probably the best in its class.
Yeah, only because of mods.
No, I'll go play it unmodded. Well, I mean, I have like too many hours in Skyrim.
Yeah, same.
But so I think the best story as far as choices go, definitely Morrowind. Like maybe Oblivion. Maybe Oblivion.
Yeah, I mean, Oblivion was my first Bethesda game, so I'm, have a special place in my heart for that.
It was the first game I bought DLC for.
Was it? Yeah. Knights of the Nine.
Knights of the Nine, correct. And there's more than that, but yeah. It was also the horse armor. So it gets a boon and a terrible fail.
Just thinking back to the controversy of that crap, that's
we're pissed off about horse armor.
Then. Yeah, $5 horse armor, and now that's in every fucking game.
It's $200 blue horse armor.
Yeah, but Bethesda was ahead of its time. Ahead of its time.
I was an Angry Joe. Is like, oh, it's for blue. It's for blue. I'm like, yeah, it is, and it's because so many people bought the horse armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sidetracked. The ZeniMax thing, like you said, is kind of interesting, and ZeniMax directly develops Elder Scrolls Online, right?
Yes, which they just announced a new expansion for, Gold Road.
Right, and Elder Scrolls Online I like.
I just couldn't get into it. I've tried it on like 4 or 5 separate occasions. And
so it's not an MMO.
I just can't get into it.
Like World of Warcraft. It is an Elder Scrolls MMO.
I think that's its problem. I think that's its problem with me is it's straddling that middle ground between trying to appease Elder Scrolls fans and appease MMO fans, and it hits on neither. So I enjoy MMOs. I want to play an MMO, but this doesn't feel like an MMO. Or I enjoy, Skyrim, those immersive
single
RPGs.
Player games.
Yeah. And it doesn't hit on that either because it's trying too much to have those multiplayer MMO aspects. Yeah. So it doesn't hit right on either chord.
Is it okay, so we played the vampire expansion for ESO.
Yeah.
It was you, me, who else was in that?
Big Time. Justin. Yeah.
No, there was someone else besides Big Time.
Yeah, another one of Big Time's buddies. I forget his name, but yeah, Reed.
Fucking Asian.
Yeah, Justin. Yeah.
No. We have to call him fucking Asian.
Sure, fucking Asian. Okay, yeah. FAW.
No, fucking Asian.
Fucking Asian.
From Boston.
But
anyway,
from Boston.
I really enjoyed going through all of the content up to and including the climactic end to that with him.
Yeah.
It's fun in that regard, but I kind of agree with you. It doesn't hit as hard as the single player content of their
Yeah.
core games.
Yep.
But Bethesda did the core games.
Yeah.
ZeniMax was trying to take that experience and meld it with pretty much WoW.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and MMOs gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe saying WoW is a little bit off. They're trying to meld it with Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
That seems more applicable.
Sure. Yeah.
And I like Guild Wars 2, and I do like ESO. I do. But if I were to be given the chance to play modded ES5,
yeah,
or modded ES3, those two would come out on top.
Exactly. Yeah. Time. If I want to play an MMO with my friends, there's better MMOs out there. If I wanted to play a single player immersive RPG, choices matter, blah blah blah, there's better single player choices matter RPGs out there. So it just is lesser of both.
Yeah. So better subjective. We're being a little bit subjective here. But, if we were to speak objectively, I would say there are verifiably more players in other games, and that must speak for itself.
You mean there's more players in other MMOs?
Yeah. In the genre, yeah. And counting WoW out, it's not. WoW has a name.
Yeah.
And that has to be taken into account, because it is definitely a shell of what it used to be. And I think ZeniMax has done more recently to give to the MMO crowd than WoW with its very lackluster stuff. You can, objectively look at the sales. The sales are there, but the gameplay the player count's going down. It's no. What's happening?
Forever,
Slope, downward slope. There's a reason for that, and it's because of the dumb shit they're doing.
Yeah.
But Microsoft laying off 1,900 employees is trimming the fat. This happens every time. I would say every time a company acquires another company.
Yeah.
There's layoffs of some sort.
Yeah. Whether redundancy or just, lacking in performance / skill.
Right. So moving on to Blizzard's canceled survival game. Oh no! Blizzard's canceled survival game had been in development for over 6 years and was highly praised by employees. Oh. So, I'm not too fond of Blizzard employees. I don't.
Yep. Definitely not recently.
Look at my content. I don't like them. Many of the survival game's devs have now been laid off with no shipped game for the resumes. Oh no! And that very little public information about the project. Oh darn! It sounds familiar, doesn't it, Sam? Kind of like what Unity did to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I have zero sympathy because I am experiencing the same thing.
Should that make you have sympathy?
No, fuck them.
But yeah, I think again it ties into Blizzard's acquisition, Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard, and I think a large portion of this was the employees, the 1,900 employees getting canned. I think they assessed the survival game as well as the survival game genre recently, and it's way oversaturated. It's gonna be continue to be oversaturated. I mean, we just had Palworld come out. That kind of set a new bar for survival games. And
Not just
Shrouded.
survival games though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, we'll get into
it wasn't
that.
just a survival game. It's also, the creature collector and basically forced manual labor simulator. But that's besides the point. It's still a survival game in there, and you have Enshrouded, which just released, I think, 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
There's PAX Day coming out sometime early this year.
Yeah.
There's lots of big survival games that are coming or have just recently released, and I think they saw that there was not a strong move to gain market share in that survival genre, so they decided to can this whole project and the people working on
it. So he gave you a very eloquent opinion.
That's me, eloquent.
I'm going to give you my opinion. Microsoft came in, looked at what they did, and they were like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I cannot make money with this. And that's
exactly. Yeah. Which is, that's what I said in more words.
Yeah. So. I think they had passion behind them that I had. I would like to think that people were literally kicked out onto the street. Like, ass first. Boom. Ow. Afuera!
I kind of disagree. I think they, like,
you think they got emails?
Probably. I mean, yeah, it was probably they probably told the team leads or speaking about the survival game, they probably each department's head, because it was, assuming Blizzard, they probably had around 300 to 400 people working on this in and out, and each of them were under different departments. You had your coders, you had your art team, you had all these different teams. They probably told the heads of these teams in person, and then the heads of the teams either emailed or told all the people below them. Would be my guess.
Not to put them into therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. So I should not be in charge of any portion of Blizzard or Activision, because
I don't know. It'd probably
there would be literal robot boots to asses.
Yeah.
Boom.
Which
Mario style.
I think
kick you right out the door.
I think a lot of them need it. So, but no, it is what it is. It's a lot of bloat and a lot of, again, like we talked about in episode 1, in our first episode.
It was highly political horseshit.
Well, yeah, it's people not caring about and actually making a fun game. They're more concerned about
activists infiltrating the entire community.
Yep.
I don't care either side. Just get out.
Yeah, you have the higher ups caring more about the bottom line, increasing margins,
right?
And, all that sort of stuff, and then you have all the people actually or majority. It's not all, but you have the majority of the people doing the actual writing, character design, art, and that stuff, that are more interested in pushing political agendas and putting strong female characters and that don't take no shit in all these games. So, and
I'll say this: Ellen Ripley took a lot of shit.
Who?
And she might be one of the strongest, or her or Sarah Connor.
Oh, from
Aliens and Terminator. They took a lot of shit. One of them had to give it, they both technically gave birth.
Yeah.
One of them to a monster. But either way, they both took a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yep. Good point.
And I'll say this: the male protagonists that are super look at Rambo. He took copious amounts of shit.
Yep.
Did you see the last Rambo movie?
Which one?
It's like an adopted grandchild or whatever she was got murdered and raped.
I don't think I saw that one.
The last one, she was bad things happened to her, and he had to go take care of business. And business he took care of.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one, actually.
Shit happens to good people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so that's Blizzard's canceling of their supposed survival game that had been in the works for 6 years. So.
Yeah. I bet they got so far as to have an open sandbox with a bunch of bullshit happening, and then they're Microsoft came in and said, "You guys have nothing.
Yeah,
we make this on a weekend, and I hate you all."
cookie cutter survival game. Again,
Yeah.
in order for a survival game to be successful in 2024 current year, it has to have a gimmick with it, aka Palworld. It has the monster
What's the gimmick
collecting. And
behind Palworld though?
it's a survival game with monster collection. Character.
And
I mean, you use them for labor and that sort of stuff, but the gimmick is creature capture.
its UI is fantastic.
I mean, it's all
the
right.
way in which you upgrade things are fantastic. The bloat at which the time you have to spend to do things is not terrible.
Yeah.
There are boss fights that are not retarded hard and are attainable.
It's not purely a survival game. It's also well-balanced systems of, the climbing the technology tree and all that sort of stuff, along with the character collection and using
We'll hit more on this in a bit. But first,
you want me?
Darth microtransaction. Sorry. Quit D4 for now.
Yes.
He said, I'm sorry, guys. It's just not fun. And he mentioned knowing that from day one.
Yeah.
Sam,
he released.
Are you playing Diablo 4? When did you quit playing Diablo 4 if you had quit?
I stopped like maybe 2 weeks before season 1 released. Then I tried season 1, played for like 3 days. Didn't care to play it anymore. And then season 2 released. I played for I think 1 day. Didn't care to play anymore, and I haven't touched it since. So
it is a boring pile of shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
every time I try to play it, it puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
It is a boring game. Boring
Unfortunately,
skills.
Yeah.
And a boring cookie cutter fucking story. Like it looks great. Fine. Your cutscenes are fantabulous. But your story I have heard.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're trying to pull people in with, good luck. You did.
Yeah. I mean, most people, they sold a shit ton of it, which is all they really care about. So now they're just kind of milking it for as long as they can.
Like, I had to. I was. My true thoughts on the game are well known. And I have been, in my opinion, objectively right, but I'm going to say subjective. But objectively, I think it is literally a piece of shit. It is a fucking piece of shit.
Please sponsor us, Blizzard. I love Diablo 4.
Anyway.
But yeah, so
subjectively, I understand where other people's opinions may vary. But I'm speaking in the fact that the fucking player count, well, the viewer count on Twitch is dropped because it's a boring piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, you even see content creator, which is this story is that you're starting to see content creators not even pick it up for the news completing the new seasons. They pick it up and then realize, holy shit, I hate playing this.
He didn't even try to take it to 8 minutes on this video. He said, I'm not even going to try to hit 8 minutes to get the ad revenue. I just wanted to tell you all, this is a boring piece of shit, and I'm not going to pick it up until they fix it.
Yeah.
This is why I'm famous, and I'm leaving it. He literally said that. No, he didn't literally say that. He figuratively said that. But whatever.
Yes.
The reason we know who he is leaving because it is a boring pile of dog shit. Anyway, my hatred for Blizzard will continue.
But no, Asmongold actually mentioned he watched the video as well on this. This guy talking about how he's quitting. Yeah. And he brought up an interesting point was that he wasn't even angry. Like in When someone still cares, when someone
He's
still
like, I'm just
cares
done.
about something, yeah, when someone still cares about something, they get angry when it's, it doesn't quite meet their expectations. They're upset and angry, shows they still have actual feelings and attachment to it. He didn't have any of that. His was just apathy and, hey, I hate playing this game. I'm done with it. Bye. And that was basically the entire video was that, and it was apathy towards it.
Oh
He
no,
didn't care.
it
He
wasn't just that.
obviously,
Salem.
yeah. What?
He specifically pointed out, I don't get paid to fix the game. I'm not here
Yeah.
to play test your bullshit.
Yep.
Fix it. When you fix it, I might come back. But right now, it is a piece of dog shit, and I am not going to put any effort into helping you fix it because fuck you. That's what that told me. That's what I gathered from that.
Yeah.
They didn't do a... in that Asmon video, I watched it as well. Asmon brought up another point. It's like, yeah, they say they value your input. And then he brought out what value actually means in an economic stance. And that's where I play. That's where we both play. We both play in numbers. We both play in spreadsheets.
Yep.
And he pointed out in very plain words that a value can be 0.
Yes.
And he was 100% accurate. They can value your input, but they can value it at 0.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to do what the community wanted, it would be done because then they would be valuing community input higher than 0. There were certain things that they valued, like, oh, you don't like farming renown. Sale.
Yes.
Let's just for the sake of entertainment purposes. We created a game with this huge map. And we're like, yeah, but to get some good stuff, you have to go and touch all these arbitrary markers we placed in the world. You have to do it. And you have to do it every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Well, I thought they got rid of that. You don't
they did,
collect those
but
anymore.
like initially, one of us would have slapped the other in the face and said, "That's dumb."
Yeah, it wouldn't have even gotten to
wouldn't have made it
available to players.
It wouldn't have been a thing in a game that was playable by other people.
Yeah.
Which lets me think that this whole compartmentalized Blizzard is dog shit. Everything they do is terrible because of it. There aren't real developers there. They're not crossing over and communicating with each other as well as they should be. Probably because they're sending emails that are never answered. They're employing people who don't play games.
Now you're just speculating.
You're letting your hatred. You're letting your hatred for game.
You're letting your hatred for Blizzard get out of control.
The video where the level designers literally didn't know how to play the game they were playing that they made.
You're talking about the one with like the purple hair and
Yes.
Yeah, that was a pretty painful video to watch.
So exactly, but they're level designers that didn't know how to play the game they made.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's different departments. Like their level designers aren't like their systems designers. So
no, but they're system designers. Again, skill tree is like a phone game.
Yeah. But again, that's not your argument here. Your argument is they didn't know how to play the game.
No. The level designers didn't.
Yeah.
Those two in particular didn't.
Yes.
But that being said, like that shouldn't have been a thing. You and I can play through what we make. You should be in every, like, even if you're not working on it, you should know about it.
Not in a company the size of Blizzard. Like this is one thing I'm going to disagree with you on. Like
Okay,
your
go ahead.
art team isn't going to know how your systems in
They're
your
also
game
not going to be
works
playing the
until it's
game on
released.
a stream.
Correct. Yeah, but those people were invited to the stream because they were specifically talking about the design of the levels, like the art and
Right,
the
right.
the Gothic architecture, that sort of stuff, which these people
That's not
did
art.
design.
Level design
Yeah,
is
it's an art to a degree, but
kind. Yeah.
whether it's art or not is irrelevant. My point being is they were designing the actual architecture of the
Of the
levels. They
level.
weren't the ones actually playing and testing game mechanics or
No, but
gameplay
I would
mechanics.
say that the architecture of the level is part of that. Anyway,
Part of what?
I would say they could get what they did done with a much smaller team.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would
Absolutely. I'm not
point at
disagreeing with you
Last
there.
Epoch. I would point at Grinding Gear Games. I would
That,
point at
well, I would
themselves
point,
as
yeah.
Blizzard North.
Yeah. I mean, I'd point at almost any indie
Yeah,
studio
yeah.
with a successful release recently, aka Palworld. But
Oh.
with that, let's kind of go into this whole AAA studios verse indie
Pokemon Company
kind of.
issues statement on Palworld copyright controversy.
Yeah. So I saw this and my initial reaction to it was, yeah, this is just a generic HR marketing response to a bunch of people asking, "Hey, this looks like copyright. Are you going to do anything, Pokemon?" And then Pokemon was like, "Hey, it's our standard company policy. We will investigate any potential copyright issues, and if there is, then we will pursue the avenue proper." It was a whole bunch of nothing, is what I'm saying.
I don't think anything will come from it.
No, and I don't
The
think Pokemon
general
plans
thing
to
is
bring anything.
they lifted meshes. It's like, okay, point to the mesh they lifted. But they're definitely there.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, so it's this whole the Pokemon this is really just a placement battle in the public eye for the whole Pokemon versus Power World thing. In everybody's mind, in the general public's mind, there is the Pokemon Company, which has had I would argue, almost stagnant intellectual property for almost 25 years now. When did it come out? 99? I think 98 was the first US release
It's
for the Pokemon
specifically
games.
when has Nintendo
Mm-hmm.
had reins on? So the quote here from
Well, it's not
them,
Nintendo, it's the Pokemon Company that released the statement, which is a separate entity, I believe.
Right. We have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 24.
They don't say the name.
The company states, yeah, they don't, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in the game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. Guaranteed they already did that before the statement came out. Guaranteed.
Probably not.
Because
not if they were looking at like meshes and that sort of stuff.
No. They're investigating them before they did this, or otherwise they wouldn't have done this.
They needed a statement. Everyone was asking them, hounding them for, "Hey,
right.
Palworld, it's a copy, blah blah blah." So they're like, "Here's our generic statement. If there is anything, we'll pursue it."
Right. And had there been anything, anything, I'm talking if a copyrighted font was used.
Yeah.
They would have been like, no, got to take that down. Those are our millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think this news article is just a placeholder for the actual battle going on behind the scenes of a Pokemon versus Palworld. There's an actual new innovative indie made game that is actually more fun than any Pokemon game has been in probably 15 years now. And
I would say maybe longer. I'm talking Game Boy era, dude. Blue, red, and gold.
I mean, Ruby and Sapphire. I think Ruby and Sapphire was peak. But
okay, all right. But I will say, Shield and Sword not bad. They're not great.
No,
they're not bad. They're like
the
neutral
non
sevens.
what see Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think, was actually the most fun Pokemon game that's come out since probably
Mm,
I'd say Gold and Silver, because it was actually attempting to do something new with the whole open world and kind of go anywhere and you see the Pokemon running around. It was actually kind of what people have been wanting out of Pokemon for, 15 years, 20, 10, 15 years by now. And then Palworld actually delivered on everything that people have been wanting out of Pokemon, and it's made by a an indie team, much smaller. People are having more fun with it,
a
and
lot of
I think,
fun.
yeah, and I think that's the actual battle that's going behind the scenes. This is just the public facing. Oh, hey, Pokemon copyright controversy.
Right.
So, yeah, that's
Right.
kind of my whole take on it. But
Yeah. You're not wrong.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of this seems to be frivolous.
yeah,
Obviously, we knew they would. No one that played that game were like, yeah, Nintendo's going to be completely all right with this, or Pokemon, or whoever the hell makes what,
mm-hmm.
whoever the powers are that be.
Yeah.
Um, I think it is partially Nintendo though,
I believe Pokemon
because
is
they have
the
the
Pokemon
rights,
company is owned by Nintendo.
right? But Nintendo has the rights to make the games for Nintendo game, like or
Yeah,
Pokemon
yeah,
games.
yeah, because
Um,
they own the Pokemon
right
company.
now, it's funny. That being said, Palworld is awesome, and
Yes,
Pokemon. We're not talking about the only reason we're talking about Pokemon is because of
Power World. Yeah,
pictures.
yeah. But no, I've been having a ton of fun with Power World. Like I think I put in almost 60 hours already, and it's only been out for what 8 days now,
Yeah,
7 days.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
There's an exclusive interview with Paolo Tevz talking about the game's influences, original assets, and the possibilities of a PvP mode. It's not so much a possibility as it is slanted for or slated for uh, a release at some point. It is on because
Mm-hmm.
this is an early access game. That's better than the fucking fully released Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it? If when does like the world playing the game in such high numbers make it objective, Salem?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it just shows that it's fun. It's actually fun, which kind of goes into there was one part in the
8 million
interview.
sales.
Yeah, as of the time of this recording. But there's one particular part in this interview that I thought really hit the nail on the head as to what we've been talking. We talk about in episode 1 of our podcast of how game developers aren't care or don't care about the art of the game or making it actually fun and enjoyable. They care more about the margins and the bottom line, all that sort of stuff. And the interviewer actually asked Mizobi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the CEO of the team that made Palworld.
He looks happy,
Basically,
by the way.
oh yeah, he looks like he actually enjoys making games, which is again another aspect of it is most of the big game developers, all of their people working on the games treat it's a job for them, which understandable. I'm not against them, making money, blah 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 blah.
Right.
But it is a job for them. For people like this, it's their passion project. It's something they love, they want to do, they enjoy doing. They would do it whether it was work for them or whether they were at home on their time off. They're probably still thinking about and working on Power World, and it really shows in the end product. Um,
Oh, it
but
does well on Steam.
what do you mean
No,
on
the
Steam?
the Xbox and the Xbox and was the Xbox Live or whatever the Steam version and the Xbox PC version, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, are not exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're catching up. That being said, this was not even just a grand slam.
Yeah.
They did so well that reading through the development process is not only laughable, but should be studied.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that and the marketing. Honestly, I when I first came across this game and saw that it was getting huge publicity, it's the marketing for it was absolutely genius. So they have in the game some very newsworthy and attention grabbing things that happen. Like you can capture humans, which instantly is, shocking and grabs people's attentions. I was seeing all over TikTok of people, I wonder if I can catch this, this human that's sitting here, and they throw
So you
the
did
pow ball.
in our game.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
watched you enslave a person.
yes, exactly, which is hilarious, and it's just little things like that that they can add to the game,
Hilarious.
which are viral, and those viral aspects elements really make for fantastic marketing, which is complete. They don't have to pay for. Literally, they just have to put it out there, get enough people, to actually start playing their game, and then they'll start finding those viral things and start making it, go viral on social media, TikTok, or whatever. And people will see that, be like, "Holy shit, you can capture humans! Oh, then you can sell them. You can sell humans for, gold." And then it's hilarious. People share it and they find it funny, and then they're like, "Hey, this looks fun. I'm going to get it." Which is how you grow that, sales number to 8 million. So I
The
was really
opposite end of
impressed with the
that
market.
ballpark is while I watched him enslave someone, I was more enthralled with putting machine guns in the hands of not
That
Pokemons.
too. Shooting and beating these cute little, chickens and lambs with like baseball
Punch
bats
him in
and
the face.
Glocks, and yeah, exactly. Like it's just hilarious and fun to see, and it goes viral. People think it's hilarious and they share it, and then they buy it, and then it just keeps going from there. So I was really impressed with the indirect marketing that happened with Palworld
Well,
through
deeper than
the
that, the
elements.
system at which you upgrade these things.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
and
it's
again,
not just
that's
that. That's
yeah,
funny. That's like
yep.
icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the indirect marketing I'm talking about. And then their systems outside of those indirect marketing elements of funny things like that, they had an actual good core game with well balanced and designed systems that were actually fun. It's fun to advance down the up the tech tree, and oh, if I get do a little bit better here, I can then get the next pickaxe, and then I can mine this a little faster, which will then help me grow over here, which then will allow me to build this, which allows my pals to then do slave labor to get this for me, so I no longer have to do that. It's very, very well designed progression, and
Right.
it's just a great game with the indirect marketing just made it go viral and made everyone made 8 million sales. So
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I especially like the fact that they started with Unity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they moved
Yep.
on to Godot.
I think they tested Godot. I don't think they actually
No, I don't
moved
think.
to
Yeah,
Godot.
right.
I believe they.
Godot's not as friendly as Unity, in my opinion.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the user
Same.
base there
Well,
to make content for
well,
them, basically.
Unity is laid out in a certain way, and if you get used to
Mm-hmm.
the way it is laid out,
Yeah.
where you have a scene and then you have prefabs in a scene and then individual game objects in a scene, right? In
Mm-hmm.
Godot, everything is a prefab essentially,
Yeah.
including the scenes. So it's the hierarchy of files is different, and the way you think about it is slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
However, Godot introduced C# programming, which is what Unity uses. So hypothetically,
Yeah.
you could learn the API from one to the other, and .NET, C#, you should be good to go. I prefer Unity, and that's coming from someone that got bent over.
Yeah. Unity was a fantastic engine, easy to use, and yeah, it's a real disappointment that it kind of went the route it did.
They screwed us anyway.
But
Anyway,
continuing with Palworld, I think another huge thing that is going to lead to its long-term success is their modding. So it's already a fairly easy to mod game. They haven't even released any modding tools to the community, but if yeah, they already have a Nexus mods page with 138 mods available already, and it's been out for less than a week or just a week now. Once they and they've
Ultra
already talked
berries.
about they've already talked about releasing modding tools for the community. And once they do that, you're going to see a huge. I think you'll see an absolutely massive modding community form around this game, and it will extend its player base as well as its shelf life for many years to come. I mean, look at Skyrim. It's been out for 12, 13 years now, almost 13 years now.
How
And
many times have you run through Skyrim with dual
exactly.
red lightsabers?
Well, never. I like to
I've
mod
done it.
my Skyrim lore friendly, but
So I put the lightsabers in, and I make sure that I have naked old ladies walking around, and then I kill the naked old ladies, and I make them
okay,
and I
weirdo.
throw them, and it's
But
funny.
yeah, so what I'm excited about with the modding is seeing total conversion mods.
Yeah,
So the whole Pokemon thing, I know they've already been. I know someone was working on a Pokemon mod for it to where they were adding in Pokemon to Palworld, and I think Nintendo or Pokemon Company actually hit them with the DMCA or whatever it's called to take it down. But
right.
another one is
As they would.
Digimon. Yeah, as they would. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I don't
Digimon.
know if they legally can unless they're making money off of it. Which I think that Pokemon modder actually was trying to make money off
Maybe
of it,
that just means
which
someone
is
else
why
has
they
to
were
do it
allowed
for
to hit it.
free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is 99% of the modding community. It's all for free. But another one I'm excited for is Digimon, a complete Digimon.
That could be
Uh,
fun. There's some
yeah.
stuff
So
there.
yeah, but yeah, there's that, and that's just the creature aspect of it. There's with the giant open world they've created there, you'll see completely new maps. You'll see bigger maps with add-ons. You'll see just tons of amazing stuff coming out of the modding community, which I'm really looking forward to. So
Um, Games that could benefit from modding. This one definitely does. It
hmm
stands up on its own though, because I haven't modded it yet.
absolutely, yeah. Neither have I.
Um,
I've been playing base game. And again, most they haven't released modding tools, so most of the modding is only like, oh, you get
Outfits,
or no, not even outfits. That's mostly
double speed. We got adjustable capture
yeah,
loot,
faster
diamond
move,
pickaxe,
more
stuff like that.
stats,
Yeah,
yeah, more stat points per level.
whatever
Most
they
of
can
them are
grab from what's in it.
yeah, number tweaks is mostly what they're going
Yeah,
to be able to do without modding tools. So yeah,
eh,
yeah,
good for them. Good for them. I will
yeah.
say, of all the games that we have been given recently,
hmm
I subbed to Game Pass because I like what's on it, and I think it's a good way to experience new things. And I still paid Pal.
Yeah.
So, um, uh, that being said, a lot of people can experience it and in its full through Game Pass. I think that pretty much sets, like, I don't know, if you play this game and clearly there's a lot there and a lot that people haven't even seen. Like I just watched Asmund kill his first boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was super tickled. Like, how often is that a thing you see from him?
yeah.
The game's fun. They made a fun game.
Exactly.
Now, Blizzard, take notes. Bethesda, take notes.
They won't.
Maybe ZeniMax. I still think they make a fun game, but
Well, see,
ZeniMax,
that's
take
a yeah.
notes.
That's another thing that I hope that I'm really hopeful for with this whole Power World stuff is that it will actually put some pressure on these big game developers to actually start putting quality into their games. Unlike with like Pokemon, where you've seen they know Pokemon will sell year over year with every new entry because it's just because of the name. So they slap out some half-assed or non-innovative game, the same game we've played, 15 other times with every other iteration, and they know it'll still sell like crazy.
Well, there's
So
150 more fictional beasts to collect.
yeah, yeah. So yep, that's my another thing I'm hopeful for with this whole Power World thing is it it really shames all the big developers into actually
What
trying.
what other games are shaming him right now, though?
Yeah, I mean
There's
that's
a
the
hand.
thing is
Last
yeah.
Epoch is putting shade on Diablo
Yeah,
4, and it's
the
not even at 1.0.
yeah. The only problem, I mean, how big of a player base does it have? It just doesn't have
Oh,
the
here it goes.
notoriety yet.
Here's where the player base comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Microtransaction literally just said he's done with ARPGs until Last Epoch. Asmund
Yeah.
Gold literally said the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There
but
you go.
again, that's maybe 50,000 sales between the two of them.
They've Ellie already has a bunch of sales.
Well, yeah. I'm talking them bringing that.
No.
They'll bring maybe
Player
50,000 sales
count
each.
is what we're going to be looking.
Sure.
Streaming views
Mm-hmm.
is what we're going to be looking.
Yep. So what is Last Epoch right now after both of them have said that they are looking forward
Last
to
Epoch's going to be low until 1.0. 1.0,
Why
you're going
though?
to
It's
see a
available
spike.
now. I'm not throwing shade at Last Epoch. My only point being is that it is not. It doesn't have the same
Right. Well,
virality that Palworld has. 8 million
no.
sales.
But Palworld is.
Everyone's talking about it.
That's
All
a good
eyes are on
point. Palworld's
Palworld.
in early access.
Yeah, and it's in early access. But yeah, it's got all eyes are on it. Everybody's looking at it. Everyone is seeing it compared to Pokemon is the big thing. Everyone's like, holy shit, this game is doing everything right. Pokemon hasn't been able to do anything new or right in, 20 years. Why? And I think that's really highlighting the difference between the two. Whereas Last
Right.
Epoch, it probably will get a lot of sales compared to, other indie games, but I don't know if it'll get the same level as like Palworld, where all eyes are on it. Everyone's comparing it to Diablo. I don't think it will really shame Diablo in the same way that Palworld is shaming
Ellie will.
Pokemon.
Okay. I yes. From a sales point of view, from a general market point of view, I think you're right.
Yeah.
From a
number.
ARPG specific point of view. And this is where Asmund and I believe to some extent Darth Microtransaction and Aaron and Gazzy and Mr. Fuzzy Nuts himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll even go so far as to say even some of like Dread. Dreadful, by the way, I saw what you did with your video on the release. You took one of Aaron's videos and you put your logo over his head and muted the video and then put it out. And while you can do that, that's fine, whatever. I saw what you did, guy.
Economical.
Yeah. I think that from an ARPG stance.
I think it'll be. I think Last Epoch will be a great game.
Last Epoch will compete directly ARPG with D4 in terms of views on Twitch.
I think it will be more fun. It will be a better action RPG. I don't know if it'll be competitive though.
No,
sales
not
wise
from a
or
sales
viewer
point.
wise.
No, God no.
Or even viewer wise, I don't think.
No, I think Twitch views. And the reason I think Twitch views is because the Twitch community is already leaning towards Ellie. They're leaving D4.
I'm looking right
They're
now.
making videos about them leaving D4.
There's not even 150 people.
That's because
watching.
1.0 has not released. The content that CT is getting is not the content that they are able to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is that different. Yeah. That's I'm speaking specifically from things I have personally seen.
Yeah.
The game will take off when 1.0 launches because that NDA is gone.
Sure.
Right now, for Warlock, the only people that could talk about Warlock for a specific period of time was
Mm-hmm.
Icy Veins and Aaron.
Okay.
And the community bitched because he decided that he was going to extend, um, content over essentially 7 days. He
Okay.
condensed it into 4 days, and personally, I think that expecting him to do a thorough evaluation of every aspect of what Warlock is in one day on one video is
Mm-hmm.
asking a bit much. It would be a very long video.
Yeah.
Understanding that he is a person with a family and a job and all that, and you're asking him to do essentially what would be a 3 or 4 hour video.
Mm-hmm.
He could do it in a stream and then
Yeah.
upload that, but he makes curated videos first and foremost. Yes, he does stream.
Mm-hmm.
The address to the community is get bent. Like seriously, all the people that bitched about that, there's way worse things in your life than that. Anyway, going on to Maxroll will be getting I believe Falconer or something like that. But like the way EHG did it was very fair. This
Mm-hmm.
company is getting this company is getting this, and they can release it. And I believe it was between Maxroll and Icy Veins, and maybe someone else. But I believe Maxroll has Blizzard. I think Blizzard does Maxroll. And Icy Veins has like Aaron. I think Gazzy does something between one of them. I don't know. Like, but Darth, I think Darth Microtransaction was wearing a Max Roll hoodie in that video where he's like, "I'm quitting D4."
Yeah, that blue one.
Yeah, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have used Icy Veins way more than I've ever used Max Roll, and that's just because of World of Warcraft.
Sure.
And the fact that it was one of the originals. I don't think that Ellie being in CT currently, I think that's the issue with what you're seeing, the viewer count being so low.
Sure.
It's because the content that is there is not present to the public yet.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Currently, you're correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm
Uh,
also worried about Last Epoch 2 being sandwiched between Diablo 4, which did get huge numbers and did unfortunately get a lot of people playing it, despite it being a bad game,
well, it was
and
name, but yeah,
Path of Exile 2.
that's the
So
one.
I'm worried that a lot of people are ARPG out, essentially.
So that's another thing I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Asmon, and the reason we keep on bringing these people up is those are your community heads, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the huge followings there to always playing these games, talking about these games, streaming these games. So, yeah.
So he doesn't want to get burned out on ARPGs. He's going into Last Epoch. I believe his wording on it was the most primal or something to that. The most in the trenches experience he could get. And if you're moving to LE from D4, that's what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
If you're moving from Path of Exile or to LE, that's where it gets a little bit. Now, in his particular case, he's played a copious amount of LE. And if you've done that and you've done the D4 thing, LE is definitely worth a try. It is definitely in between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it might just be the thing that you can do if you have a busy schedule and want some complexity in your game. Anyway,
More than just your cookie cutter
yeah,
skill line.
right.
Not even a tree, just a line. But yeah, that's off topic.
Way off topic, but I'm drawn into it because I'm in it. That being said, Palworld having modding, awesome.
Yes.
Technically, you would think, and I believe there was some plan for this in the past, but LE having modding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's made in Unity.
That'd be interesting. You have to, they would have to separate modded world, modded played characters from their public.
Right. When this was talked about,
characters.
It was not it was a solo experience.
Yeah. Before they decided to add in multiplayer?
Well, so multiplayer was a thing from the beginning, but they didn't know exactly how they would go about doing that.
Yeah.
And when they did start going about that, like this was slightly after or slightly before the Tencent funds.
Yeah.
They brought in industry professionals to help them out. And that probably helped them out quite a bit, because I watched it go from being really bad, being not so bad.
Yeah.
To being usable. So if they just keep on doing that and keep improving things in a meaningful way, like I have seen them do, I don't think they're going to have any problem getting view count taken away from Diablo.
Yeah.
Which is already low.
Do you know if they have any plans for seasonal stuff like Diablo 4 has? Or have they not discussed anything like that?
They have discussed it. So right now, on launch, we're going to get the Merchants Guild, MG, and the Circle of Fortune, which is KOF, which is the difference is Merchants Guild and KOF acquire some of their goodies in different ways. Circle of Fortune has a greater chance of having better drops.
Okay.
So you gain the stuff randomly through gameplay. Merchants Guild has the ability to sell items. I believe they decided on one time. So you get an item, you craft it up, and you can sell it, and it can be sold one time.
Okay, yeah.
Now you can trade amongst each other, regardless of who your fealty goes to, like if you're MG or your KOF.
Sure.
But you have to play with that person
while the item dropped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like in Diablo.
Yeah, but there's like a trade type currency. I call it the trade tax.
Oh, really? Okay.
You have to play with them for a certain amount of time, so you can't just hop in and be like, "Oh, I met you one time online." And
so it won't be like Diablo, where it had to have dropped while you and that other person were in a party,
right?
Together.
Right. You would have to have played with them for a certain amount of time.
Gotcha.
And I call that a trade tax. And they do it for a specific reason. They were trying to combat bots.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything they did. I would like an open and free trade market. I would like MG to be completely open and trades to happen more than once, but I'm not going to get what I want. But I still view the ability to buy the exact item I want as more valuable than hoping I get it in a drop.
Yeah.
So I am MG. I am Merchants Guild. And as are all smart people. Circle of Fortune people are like, I just want to play the game. I'm not very competitive. I'm like, I'm not being competitive. I just know what I want, and I'm willing to pay gold for it. That's the thing too. Merchants Gold sales are in gold.
Sure.
Instead of having some secondary resource for it. It's all gold.
Yeah.
Which you pick up in the regular world.
Yeah. What's the other one use?
Circle of Fortune? It's
Yeah.
just random drops. You're hoping on
Yeah, but
RNG
what's
for
the?
that.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, okay, I didn't follow. I guess, but so they aren't selling stuff through the Circle of Fortune.
No, there's no sales in Circle of Fortune. They still get the
Uh,
trade, like the literal trade, like, oh, I dropped this while I was playing with you and I played with you for X amount of hours, so we can do this.
yeah.
That's there. But
Mm.
as far as being able to purchase and sell things, that does not exist in Circle of Fortune.
Oh, okay, I got you now.
So it's too they separated the community. They segregated the community into capitalists and non-capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it. I am a capitalist.
You would.
I just know that the free market gives me video games.
Does it?
It gave me Palworld. Tell me that guy wasn't capitalizing on the fact that he could do something that would. Well, I don't think he thought it. Do you think he believed he would make
See,
8
I would
million
argue that.
sales?
Well, no. See, here's kind of the thing. Here's where the right kind of horseshoes back around. Talking about Power World. If you want to see what actual like capitalism brings you in like the video game and entertainment game industry, look at Diablo 4. They with the capitalists only concern. I don't think this is a bad thing either. I think that we're concerned about the bottom line, actually making money. That sort of stuff is very important because then you're economically profitable and prosperous. It brings wealth to the community. Blah blah blah. But in like arts, in the arts with like video games, it becomes only about the money and doesn't become about the art of the game. And like we talked about earlier, the CEO of Palworld, of the Palworld developers, he made the game and was passionate about it. He was smiling. He loved doing it. It wasn't a job to him. It was a passion project. It's
Right.
something he would have done at work as well as at home. I guarantee you, when he leaves the office, if they have offices, and goes home, I guarantee you, he's thinking about Palworld. He's or was maybe not as much now that it's semi-released, but he would come home, he would still be thinking about Palworld. How can I develop this? What should I do with this? He was still doing that even on his quote unquote off time. With capitalism, it is purely a hey, this is my job. I do it for 8 hours a day, then I go home and I want nothing to do with it. It isn't a passion project. It isn't something they care about beyond that, hey, I have to care about it because it's my job. And that's where, it going so far right, you realize that the beauty in the world and art and all that sort of stuff starts to actually is actually an important part of conserving our social fabric of society, which is why you see in architecture, especially in the West and Europe and the United States, you see architecture. Modern architecture is hideous and ugly and soul destroying. Whereas you go back,
It's
60, 80, 100 years, and the architecture was beautiful. The Gothic, all
yes.
the cathedrals,
Not even
and
Gothic, just in
yeah,
general. The
in general,
Victorian
yeah.
stuff is
Even
great too.
you go out, even the smaller stuff. You go out to like rural France and look at just some of those small village homes that have been there for 400 years, and they're they are beautiful aesthetic works of art, and
There
just
is
they uplift the soul, and that is lost in capitalism,
so
unfortunately.
so
And I'm not
yes.
against capitalism.
No,
Just
no,
to
no.
be
Neither one of
straight
us
out,
are.
it just doesn't fully capture everything necessary to preserve a
No, you need a
society.
social doctrine
Exactly.
to accompany
Exactly.
your economic doctrine.
Yes.
Um, to point, in Florida, where the
Mm-hmm.
influx of seems all of America has come, got people from all walks of life coming in troves.
You mean all walks of life, aka Africa,
No, well, I mean probably, but like
sub-Saharan Africa? That's where a lot
California,
of them are coming from.
you get the Yankee
They're
crowd, you
flying.
get all kinds of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of it's ridiculous how many people are coming in actually. So
Yeah.
they've started building like housing
Mm-hmm.
as you do.
Talk about in Florida again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like this is local to me. This is a
Yeah.
5-minute between 5 and 30 minutes. With between 5 and 30 minutes, I can find 12 different locations, at least, if not more, because they're continuously building.
Mm-hmm.
Where the apartment complexes all look like they are like Soviet buildings.
Yeah,
they're all
they are soul crushing. Yeah, soul crushing. Yeah,
it looks like Soviet Russia vomited all over the Sunshine State.
Yeah, it's that brutalist architecture, soul crushing, and living amongst that. And people don't realize the psychological effects living amongst like actually beautiful and uplifting architecture and places like actually does for the soul, actually does psychologically, and it's a huge shame.
That's why I live
what's happening
under trees.
Yeah, again, a natural beauty. A natural beauty is not separate from what we're talking about here.
But I also play get on the laptop, play games out. I put my hammock up.
Yeah,
underneath oaks. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Really sidetracked, but it kind of ties back in. With D4, the way taking the route they took, with not so much Last Epoch. I think Last Epoch's always been like a passion project. They just happen to get funds along the way.
Yeah, which unfortunately is necessary. You have to. Even Michelangelo was funded to paint the Sistine Chapel.
He was funded by the most funding of funders.
Yeah.
Think about who funded him. The Vatican.
Was it the Vatican? Yeah.
Like who was the bigger guy at the time? I can't think of one.
Economically.
Like I think the Vatican was like head honcho at the time he painted that.
Was it?
That ceiling. Yeah. I think they were like the end all be all of economics. I can't really think of anyone else that was like bigger at the time.
Wait, when was that?
A long time ago in a galaxy far away.
I actually don't know. But let's get sidetracked. We're going on almost an hour and a half, so we better start wrapping this up.
Yes. Anyway, that was pretty much.
And we've gotten way sidetracked off of our original 5. I hope you all enjoy that.
Oops.
Only the right opinions come.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong opinions. There's only our opinions.
Only facts.
Yeah.
Only our opinions.
Anyway, I mean, can't wait to see what happens next week. But this week was pretty fun. What's going on? The reason we got on an economic tangent is because D4's nonsense, Ellie's what I perceive to be a future success, and Palworld's accidental success make you kind of look into what's going on there. And if people did that, they'd be like, oh, maybe we should just make something people want instead of trying to engineer what we think is going to make money.
Yep. Because
you're using models that are wrong. And I live in the state of Florida, and they use models to predict the weather, and it's 50% incorrect. You might as well roll a dice.
See, that's kind of the problem, though. Their models are working for what they're actually looking for. That is, massive sales. Which is all their models are actually looking for. They're not looking for what makes a fun game. They're looking for what sells the most game, which is
ultimately
why Diablo
they'll
4
end up doing
made a shit ton of money.
Oh, the D4 did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
D4 did. All these games, all these games that we hate that are awful games, make tons of money because that's
what's happening to those games.
To do. I mean, they make tons of money and then they die. I mean, Starfield, perfect example. Tons of money.
Starfield died faster than. Starfield died
care.
So damn fast. Emil, look at me, Emil. I swear, I'm so sorry, dude, but that game's fucking terrible. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a bad game, but it still made tons and tons of money. They made so much money off that game. They did exactly as their models intended.
They had the hype. D4 had the hype.
Bethesda not. Yeah. It had the names behind it, Blizzard, Bethesda.
You know who didn't have hype or doesn't and didn't?
Palworld.
There's two. Palworld didn't. Ellie did. Ellie's getting hype now from the community.
it's starting to get attention. My kind of fear, so my apprehension towards that attention is that it isn't coming like Power World got attention because it was such a fantastic game. People are
Right.
like, holy shit, this is actually a good game. My fear with Last Epoch's attention is not that it's getting attention because it's such a fantastic. It might be a fantastic game. I haven't played it that much, but I don't think it's getting attention for that reason. I think it's getting attention because everyone is hating on Diablo 4. So they're like, hey, we hate Diablo 4. Look at this other action RPG game. Let's, jump behind that to stick it to D4. Not, hey, this is such a
That could
fun,
be.
fantastic game. I mean, I think it's a mixture of both. I just fear it's the percentages is a little bit too much. D4 hate, not enough.
We'll cap it off at an hour 30, but
yeah.
There has been not underground, but there has been a community of streamers for Last Epoch for a while. Like you have Perry the Pig, you have Boardman, you have Lizard, you have Aaron Action RPG, you have Dread, you have a number of others. Okay, and they all have a following behind them that is going to be. Well, they have already purchased this game. But on kickoff, when this game hits 1.0 and everyone is streaming it, those are going to be your go-to streamers. Those are going to be the streamers, besides Asmon, obviously, any game he plays, or
he brings his viewers
or any of those. Like we are understanding there are mega streamers, but I'm talking about community streamers. And yes, Zizrin does have items in the game, but you know who else does? Do you know who else has items in LE that I helped co-develop?
Aaron?
Yes. Boardman has a set that he paid for. He paid $3,000.
Did he really? Goddamn.
Yeah, he paid $3,000 to have a set of 3 items.
What was that in in their Kickstarter or something?
It was part of the Kickstarter, yeah. The way Aaron got it was actually by just being completely dedicated to Last Epoch, and really enjoying the game and promulgating. The way it was there were 3 people three people only that besides Ellie, the Last Epoch creators, it was Daft, myself, and Aaron that worked on that with them. This is something that Ellie has over they're willing to go out and be like, yeah, we'll do this. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll take this. Yes, we'll do this with you. The only time Blizzard will ever do that would be like, oh, yeah, you're Mr. Beast? Okay, Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying they're doing anything with Mr. Beast, but you have to be like what they perceive to be a mega fish. Yeah. Ellie, given that it's a game that's $35, I don't think has gone on sale. It may have. I don't think it has. $35, millions of copies sold, I believe. And for the majority of that time, their I guess their team was smaller until they got some money from Tencent.
Yeah.
Which I gave them shit.
Yeah, I'm not all that opposed to Tencent. At least not as much as I used to be.
I'm not, because you know what's happened since Tencent did that?
No.
You're going to when 1.0 launches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we can't get into it, Tencent. We're trying to keep this under an hour and a half.
Yeah. Anyway, that's this that's what I have to say this week.
Yep, that's kind of what caught our attention this week. So,
the gaming update.
Gaming update. Yep. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a week.
Bye.